Welcome back to the Oosterhout Free Library Book Bite series. I'm Miss Melissa. We're reading Goldie from the Puppy Place series by Ellen Miles and published by Scholastic. Now, do you remember where we are? Charles and Lizzie, their dad brought this dog home from a fire site. They want to keep it. The parents just are trying to find the right home. Maybe the answer is very close nearby? We'll see. Charles and Lizzie take the dog outside, and there they meet their friend Sammy. Sammy must have been watching from next door. He came right over. "So?" he asked. "Didn't those people want her?" Charles shook his head. "She didn't give them the best first impression," he said. He told Sammy what had happened. "Well, it doesn't matter," Sammy said, "because I thought of a great home for Goldie." "What?" Charles asked. "Where?" Sammy pointed to his house next door. "Right there," he said. "She could live with me and Rufus. Come on, it's perfect. She's just what Rufus needs. Didn't you see how happy he was playing with her?" Goldie living next door with Sammy? Charles wasn't sure how he felt about that. What if Goldie ended up liking Sammy better? "What, really?" Lizzie asked. "Your parents said it was okay?" She didn't seem so sure about the idea either. "Well, no," Sammy said. "Actually, I haven't asked them yet." He looked a little sheepish. "But they have to say yes." Charles thought about it some more. It was true that Goldie was good for Rufus, and as she lived next door, he could see her every day. Suddenly it seemed like a great idea. If we can't keep Goldie, having her next door would be the next best thing, he said. Lizzie looked at him. "You know," she said slowly, "you might be right." "I'm definitely right," Sammy said. "Now all we have to do is convince my parents." "We can do it," Charles said. "Goldie's the best puppy ever. How could they say no?" Charles and Sammy and Lizzie brought Goldie right over to meet Sammy's parents. Charles held her in his arms so she couldn't get down and chase around with Rufus, breaking things and making a mess. Sammy's dad said that Goldie looked like a great pup. "But we already have a dog," he added, "and I'm not sure I can go through the whole housebreaking thing again. Rufus took months to learn. What a disaster. It was too much work." Sammy's mother thought Goldie was very cute, but it's been hard on us, watching Rufus get older. I don't think we want to start all over. "You don't really need another dog now." She smiled at Lizzie and Charles. "I'm sure you'll have no trouble finding a good home for her," she said. Charles knew she was right, but if he really had to give up Goldie, the best home would be the one that was right next door to his own. "If only she was housebroken," Sammy said when they were back outside. "Maybe that would convince Dad." "Sure, as long as she didn't decide to chew on his favorite camera or something," Lizzie said. Sammy's dad was a photographer, and he had a lot of expensive equipment. They both sounded as if they had given up. Charles wasn't ready to quit. He wanted Goldie to live next door. "It's time for Operation Goldie," he declared. "They might not need another dog, but we can make them want another dog. Goldie's so smart. She just has to learn a few things, and then Sammy's parents won't be able to resist her." Lizzie and Sammy stared at him. "It's true," Lizzie said. "We can train her so they don't have to." "I bet we can teach her to always go outside," Sammy said. "She only makes mistakes once in a while." "And puppies need to chew," Lizzie said. "That's a fact. But we can make sure she has her own toys to chew on, so she won't wreck people's things." Cozy in Charles's arms, Goldie looked happily from one place to another. Her people were excited. Something good was going to happen. She could hardly wait. Now they're training her. "Come, Goldie." Lizzie knelt down with her arms open wide. Goldie dashed across the yard so fast she tumbled head over heels twice before she got to Lizzie. "Oh, what a good girl," Lizzie said. "Come, Goldie," called Charles from another corner of the yard, and Goldie took off at a gallop. Charles was proud of Goldie for learning so fast. "Look at her go," Sammy said. He looked at the list in his hand. I think we can check off comes when called, he said. She sure knows how to do that. And sit and even stay, added Lizzie. She's got those nailed. Charles kissed the top of Goldie's head as he cuddled the wriggling pup in his arms. Operation Goldie was a total success so far. Lizzie said they could only train Goldie for 10 minutes at a time because of her short attention span. But she had learned so much in 1 week. She really was the smartest puppy ever. And Charles had been watching Sammy with Goldie. His friend was great with the puppy. Maybe the plan would really work, and Sammy's parents would agree to keep her. Charles would get to play with her every day and watch her grow up. He could already see himself and Sammy throwing balls for Rufus and a grown-up Goldie, taking the dogs swimming at Loon Lake, showing them off at the library's annual pet show. It's been, Sammy checked the sheet again, 3 whole days since she made a mistake in the house. 2 days, Lizzie reminded him. Remember that little incident in the entryway? That doesn't count, Charles said. She was trying to get outside. She knelt down to give Goldie a rub. Weren't you, girl? He asked. The chewing has gotten a lot better, Lizzie said. The only thing she's destroyed lately is Ducky, and that's okay, since he's a dog toy. She destroyed Ducky? Sammy asked. He looked upset. Ducky was Rufus's dog toy. Well, not really destroyed, Charles said. Let's just say he's a lot thinner than he used to be. He probably won't be flying south for the winter. Sammy laughed. He reached down to pat Goldie. That's okay, Goldie. Rufus was tired of that old toy anyway. I think Goldie will be ready to show off to your parents in just a few more days, Lizzie said. Charles, Lizzie, their mom was standing at the back door. Guess what? We just got another phone call. A family is interested in adopting Goldie. Charles, Lizzie, and Sammy stared at one another. This was terrible news. Nobody else could adopt Goldie, not now, not when they'd worked so hard with her. Come on in, I'll tell you all about it, said Mom. Lizzie, Charles, and Sammy all went inside. The news got worse and worse. According to Mom, this family sounded great. They weren't old people living in an RV. They had 3 kids, and they lived in the country, where Goldie would have lots of room to roam. And they were coming right over to see Goldie. They would be there in half an hour. When their mom left the kitchen after telling them about the phone call, Lizzie and Charles and Sammy just sat there. They stared down at Goldie. I guess that's it then, Sammy said sadly. We'll never see her again. I can't stand it, Lizzie said, getting down on the floor to cuddle with Goldie. Hold on, you guys, Charles said. We can't give up yet. What choice do we have? Sammy said. We show her off to your parents now, Charles said. Sure, we wanted to train her for another few days, but she's nearly perfect. I bet they'll love her. Lizzie and Sammy and Charles looked at one another. Yes, it was time. Lizzie started getting all bossy and making plans. Okay, she said, let me see that checklist. We need to figure out all the things we want to show off. First, we can have her sit. Then we'll show how well she can stay. Goldie could tell something exciting was about to happen, but until it did, she decided she might as well have a drink. She was so thirsty. She wandered over to her bowl and drank some water. Then she waded into her water bowl a little bit because she liked how the cool water felt on her feet. This was fun. She had another drink. Then, suddenly, Charles came over and picked her up. Ready to show your stuff, Goldie? He asked. This is the big time. You have to do your very best. Goldie licked his face. Charles laughed and gave her a kiss on the nose. Let's go, girl, he said. When they got to Sammy's house, Sammy put Rufus in the downstairs den and shut the door. They had all agreed that Goldie would be more impressive if she wasn't distracted. Then he called his parents into the living room. I know you think a puppy is too much bother, he said, but this one is different. She's perfectly trained. She won't be any trouble at all. Sammy, his dad began. Please, Dad, Sammy begged. Can we just show you all the things Goldie can do? How's Goldie going to do with this big test? We'll find out next time from the Shop Free Library. when we finish the book Goldie from the Puppy Plays series.